Today, we are going to explore how you can diversify your offerings to kind of maintain or slow grow that business now that you're over that initial phase and you can actually sit back and explore what is next.
Balancing building a successful business and being a superstar mom is hard, and yet, in today's digital world, it's more common than ever.
The question becomes, how do we successfully grow a business and children at the same time?
Join us for a candid conversation as we share our insights into marketing and motherhood. I'm Angela Reeder.
And I'm Jessie Valle. Welcome to the Marketing Moms Podcast.
So, diversifying your offerings. Now, some people are going to be here like, wait a minute, I thought you said we were slowing down. Why would we offer something new? Because doesn't that sound counterintuitive? It does sound counterintuitive, but I promise you it is not. Now that you've reached that point in your business where what you've created foundationally is strong, now you have the opportunity to explore how to make small tweaks and changes to strengthen it even more.
Yes, this is not the throw everything at the wall and see what sticks sort of diversification that you get at that initial growth phase where you're just trying to figure out what's going to make you money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So everything we say in this episode, I know it's going to sound counterintuitive, but it is not. Starting with the first thing, which is to expand your product line. So what we mean by that is you have clearly worked with, hopefully at this point, hundreds of people, right? So you have an idea of what they like and what they need and what they want. I know a lot of times it's sell them what they want, but give them what they need.
Yeah.
That kind of a thing. But now is a time to actually introduce, say, a complementary offer or something that can really help focus on what might come next, like a logical next step. Because remember, we're at that stage where we need to now start utilizing the customer base we already have. So we can't sell them the same thing. We have to offer them something new. And so that's kind of what this is the next logical step in your offering.
Yes. And if you're a service provider, this can also be an opportunity to collaborate with people to be able to offer some of those complementary services.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, for example, if you are, I don't know, let's come up with an example.
If you are a copywriter, maybe you collaborate with a designer to offer some social media graphics and captions.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So it's another way where even though you're not the one doing that second service, because you're collaborating, you can still get a kickback.
Yeah.
For bringing in the new customer, for sure. Mm-hmm. Another thing that you could do is kind of develop add-ons, especially as a service provider.
Yes.
So this is when, let's say you're a web designer or developer and you've built the website. What's next? Well, you can offer them a maintenance package so that you can continue to work with them, work on their website, but you're not building a new one because you already did.
Right.
So it's kind of enhancing the value of that initial product.
Mm-hmm. And it can also be a draw to new customers, even though that's not really the focus, to know that you do have those additional services. Sometimes people just like to know that there's like other options, even if they don't take them.
Yeah. And also I know that it's kind of like my sister has not lived in the town we grew up in for years. And yet she still goes there for the dentist and the doctor.
Right.
It's like
Yep.
because it's what you know and it's what
Hmm.
you trust, you continue to make the longer drive to go there, even though there's a doctor and a dentist around the corner.
Right.
So it's kind of like that. You want to build that customer base that feels that loyalty to stick with you no matter what over the long
Hmm.
haul. And having those add ons, ways that they can stick with you, can be really helpful.
Right.
But not just that, it's also like, let's say you are a web designer. I'm just going to use that one again. And you've never offered the copywriting portion, but you could
Right.
now. And no one said you personally have to do it. You can collaborate with someone else or
Hmm.
do subcontracting where you
Yep.
hire them to write it and then offer that as a service add-on.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's not, I mean, it's not going to exponentially increase your profits, especially if you're doing something like subcontracting, but it is going to grow a little bit. It's going to
Mhm.
bring in a little bit of extra income without a whole lot of extra work on your part.
Right.
Another thing you can do that's similar to that is to offer customization. So, offer some more customized options for your client depending on what their needs are. So, I have a certain set of clients that are really dependent upon SEO for their businesses. And so one of the things that I offer them is technical SEO support. So making sure that images have alt tags, checking broken links, those little nitpicky tech things that don't usually show up in SEO audits,
Mhm.
but somehow still make a big difference to SEO. But a lot of my clients don't need that. They're not as concerned about it. They're driving direct traffic. They don't worry about SEO, but I do have a small subset that need that SEO. And so that's a good customization that I can offer them to their package to add that on.
Yeah, for sure. And let's say that you are a virtual assistant. And virtual assistants typically have a very wide range of skills and
Hmm.
offerings in their packages. But let's say, I mean, again, you're not a beginning business owner. You've probably, most likely, definitely have learned a lot of things over the time that you have been assisting. And so maybe now is the time where someone comes in and they're like, listen, I love this stuff that you're offering, but I really wish you could also do this.
Hmm.
And it might not be something you ever thought of, but now is the time to say, you know what? Yeah, sure. Let's
I
add
could
it
do
on,
that.
tack it on.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I'm not going to offer that in my main package, but I will do it for you. So
Yes.
also give the clients and the customers the opportunity to tell you what they need and explore fulfilling that for them, even though it's not something you would have imagined doing at the beginning of your business.
This is also a really good time to explore some of those niche markets that you may not have targeted in the initial growth phase because they are very, very small. So it takes a lot more effort to like track down those clients and really find out what they offer. But if you're in a slower growth phase or you're in a maintenance phase where you aren't spending quite as much time, money, and effort into the marketing and the growing and the bringing new people in, you can explore some of this. You can really sit back and think about what are some of the people that I really, really enjoy working with. What are some of the things that I would like to do? Maybe there are certain nonprofits that you would love to work with that you want to try and go after. Or maybe you go, you know what, I had that one client that one time that was I don't know, underwater basket weaver. And it was super fun. And I want to see if I can find some more clients like that. Like
Yeah.
go for it. Like see what you can find and see if you can target those markets with very specialized services and products that you know they need.
Yeah. So I actually saw a story recently that fits this perfectly. So, you know the cup company Stanley.
Oh gosh, yes.
Exactly. When you think of a Stanley Cup, who do you think that is for? What market?
Well, right now I know who it was originally for,
Oh, okay. You
but
know the story then.
I will go ahead and say for women, because I'm on TikTok, so
Yeah.
there's no escaping the marketing of Stanley Cups toward women, even though it's not a thing I would be interested in.
Yeah. So, yes, originally Stanley Cups were meant for the workforce, right? Like a strong, sturdy cup that could keep your drink cold all day. Um, and at one point, a mom influencer found the cup and marketed it to her audience, and it
Mm-hmm.
blew up.
Yes.
And instead of ignoring that, they're like, "Well, we weren't really focusing on moms and women and that field. We're looking at the hard, strong
Right. Yeah.
workforce.
Blue
That's
collar
who,
type
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
not these moms and ladies." So instead of being like, that's an anomaly, they leaned into it and they came out with a product line of more fun colors and pastels and the pretty ones that women would be more
Yes.
drawn to. And guess what? Their business blew up even more.
Yes.
And so that's obviously not what we want you to do per se, because that would be a
This is
rapid
slow
growth
growth
expansion,
maintenance.
which is kind of, yeah, not exactly what we were discussing here. But I still think it's a really cool story.
And it's a really good example
Mhm.
of finding like a niche market that can really enjoy your products and services.
Right. Another thing I think of for service providers per se is exploring. Let's say that you did work with a lot of different companies and you, like Angela said, really enjoyed that underwater basket weaver. Creating certain packages and lines that really speak to that specific clientele, that might be something you would explore, because then it's easier to say, hey, you know what? I offer website building. However, I have this specific website build for an underwater basket weaver, which has special features that underwater
Mm-hmm.
basket weavers need.
Yes.
Maybe you should take a look at this. Now, that
Mm-hmm.
one's silly, but you could do it for dentists or auto body mechanics and, all these different places that they all need a website or
Yeah.
they all need your service, but you have time to actually create specific packages saying, like, okay, well, uh, an artist, I know Angela has worked with several artists, they always need a place or a page to display their artwork,
Mm-hmm.
but a dentist doesn't need that. you
Right.
know?
Yes, exactly. That is a really good example. And I think really, like, before we get into the last one, what a lot of this diversifying of your offerings boils down to is that now that you are not in the scraping and scrabbling and scrounging to find clients phase, you can really have fun with your business. You can try new things that you always wanted to try, wanted to offer, but were afraid that nobody would take. Because it's okay if nobody takes it. If you put it out there and nobody wants it, okay. You still have that maintained business of
Hmm.
steady clients and steady revenue. And if it does work out, awesome. You get a little bit of growth, you get a little bit more revenue. But this is a really good time to start playing with some of those things to really enjoy the business that you've built.
Hmm. Yeah. Because prior to this, there have been a lot of stressful moments as you've been trying to build that strong foundation. And now is the time that you have it, so you can have that breathing room to maybe try something a little different.
Yeah. So the last one, which personally is one of my favorites, uh, is seasonal or limited editions. Now, this is easier if you are a product based business because, there's seasons and holidays, and you can come up with all kinds of things. It's a little more difficult if you're a service based business, but you still can do seasonal offerings. I
Yeah.
have Black Friday offerings because I have a lot of clients that need Black Friday help. those are only available like October, November. I don't offer them any other time of year.
Yeah, but if you think about it, there are some things that even if you do them throughout the year, you can put a holiday spin on it.
Yes.
Like, yes, take the holidays for example. Maybe throughout the year, a lot of people, like on social media, for example, they have a lot of things that are just generic, but then you can offer your special holiday social media package where you take the time to take their branding and put it in the seasonal look without them having to
Yes.
wonder, okay, how can I take my normal branding and make it look seasonal for a month?
Right. Yeah, a good example would be if you are a graphic designer or a copywriter that offers social media services for captions or for like social media posts. Maybe one of the things you offer starting in November or through November is like an Advent countdown to Christmas or whatever
Mm,
holiday that particular business wants to count down to, where it's just a package of 25 social media posts and captions that are, like Jessie said, your branding, but kind of holidayed up. And you don't have to think about it. You just schedule them in your scheduler, and you've got a festive social media for a month.
yeah.
And you could
And
do that for other holidays too.
mhm,
Thanksgiving, 4th of
Valentine's
July,
Day.
oh, Labor Day, I don't know.
Well, I was also
Countdown to
thinking,
school, going back to
yeah, I was also thinking of the people who offer like a year of
yeah,
XYZ, a
yeah.
year of social media ideas, a
Mhm.
year of video ideas, a year of blog posts, a year of whatever. You can technically market that at any time of the year.
Right.
However, if you put a holiday spin on it and market it
Mhm.
at the in December heading into
Mhm.
the new year or January special or something like that, now is the time to take what you already offer and take the extra time to put a little holiday spin on your marketing for a month of the year.
Yes. Yep. And also with limited edition products is a good way to like experiment with different offerings for products or services, just to say, hey, for the next 3 months, I'm going to offer this service just
Yeah.
to try it out. You don't have to tell people it's just to try it out, but just to try it out.
Yeah.
Like 3 months
If
only, I'm offering this service.
Yeah. I know that we're trying to speak to service providers, but yeah, absolutely. If you're a product based line as well, I know someone who needed a certain or has flavors of things. And guess what? During the fall, they offered pumpkin spice because why not? But guess what? That's a seasonal and limited edition.
Yes.
Or the reason the coffee places only give me pumpkin spice a couple months of the year so that I crave it the rest of the year.
Yes.
How
So you
dare
want it
they?
the rest of the year. Yes. Our Speaking of coffee shops, our coffee shop has new special things every month,
Hmm.
like our local coffee shop. And one of my favorite ones over the summer, they have like a lavender honey latte
Mm.
that's really good. So yeah, like it's fun to me to go in and see. They'll have like 3 or 4 special things each month,
Hmm.
which is really really fun and a draw for
I was gonna
people.
say it keeps you coming in because you want to see what the
Yeah.
flavor is. Although, have you seen? Do you have any crumble cookies near you?
No.
Okay,
I've
well,
heard
it
of them though.
okay, cool. Well, anyway, they have different flavors every week.
Oh,
Yeah, so every week you walk in, and of course they have the classics like chocolate chip
right.
every week, but they only offer like six different cookies every week, and one is already chocolate chip. But you walk in, and
Right.
it's like what like it's different every
What is
week.
it this week?
Yeah, what
Yeah,
is it
and
this week? What are you offering this week?
that brings people back not only to see what's new, but also if they find a cookie they like, they may make an extra trip back that week just to get another cookie before it goes away. I get that way when there's a really good flavor at the coffee shop. I will go an extra time or two just to get that before it goes away.
Yeah.
again.
You know, it reminds me of back in the day. I'm so sad that they canceled this promotion, but the Monopoly at McDonald's. Do you know
Yes.
how much we went to McDonald's to get those little
So many
Monopoly pieces?
times.
So many times.
Yes.
Why did they stop that?
And people looked forward to it
Oh,
every
totally.
year. People would
It
get
was,
so excited about it.
I know. Ah, nostalgia.
Yes. Yeah. So that's a good example of promotions and options for products, for services, for all kinds of different stuff.
Absolutely. So even though you are in that slow growth maintenance phase, now is the time that you can actually sit back and think, how can you improve even a smidge those products and offerings that you have currently to kind of diversify your offers or try something new? Now is the time to do that. If there is something that we didn't mention on this list that you have done, or you have an extra story to tell us about any of these things, we are all ears. You can find us on Instagram over at Marketing Moms Podcast. And we look forward to speaking with you next week. That's the beginning one. I mean, bye!
Bye!
Thank you for joining us today. We're so honored this is where you chose to spend your time.
If this episode helped you in some way, please share it with another mom who needs to hear it. We're in this together.
And if you're ready for next steps, free goodies, and more, head over to marketingmomspodcast.com.
We'll see you next week.